students from the colleges who are going to do the countdown to tonight, the Sales the Opera House with the
Guys, come on.
Archbishop representing the Archbishop, he couldn't be with here today because of his COVID quarantine period, but he's going to say a few words. But I also acknowledge His Excellency, the Consul General of Greece, going to say a few words. But on behalf of the New South Wales, can I thank the whole of the Australian Greek community. Tonight is about celebrating the commitment and the achievements of the Australian Greek community, your contribution to Australia, to modern Australia. There's something like 132,000 people in New South Wales with Greek heritage. Tonight is just a symbol of our appreciation for all your hard work, for your achievements in business, in academia, in sporting, right across our community. Especially can I thank the Australian Greek community for your work in COVID-19. It's been a difficult time over the last year, but without your support, we wouldn't be in such a great situation. It is now my great pleasure to introduce the Premier of New South Wales, the Honourable Gladys Berejiklian, the first Premier in Australia.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is my absolute honour and privilege to be here this evening. Can I acknowledge all the Reverend Fathers and acknowledge Archbishop Makarios. I know he'd want to be here this evening, but he's fulfilling his quarantine obligations, and we wish him well in that process. Can I acknowledge the Consul General, community leaders, members of the school community, and of course my parliamentary colleagues, Dr. Lee, Mark Kure, and Eleni Petnos, graduate from St. Spiridon College herself, who speaks phenomenal Greek, and we're very proud of her. But today is a day, we don't just celebrate 200 years of Greek independence. We celebrate the contribution many of you of Greek heritage have made to New South Wales, an outstanding contribution. New South Wales wouldn't be the state it is, wouldn't be the strong state it is without the contribution of Greek Australians, and I'm so incredibly proud of each and every one of you. But tonight again, we don't just celebrate your contribution to this great state and 200 years of independence after many centuries of Ottoman rule. We celebrate thousands and thousands of years of Greek civilization. What you have given humankind in terms of philosophy and the sciences and many other areas we still use today, of course democracy. Today we celebrate the continuation of that culture. Even when you were under foreign rule, you lived freely and were able to express your culture for generations and generations, and you survive and thrive today. And 200 years is a dot in Greek history, but an important occasion to mark. We are very proud of this historic milestone. We're proud to celebrate it on the opposite side of the world to Greece, because our hearts are one with Greek people around the world as we celebrate this wonderful milestone. Thank you for making the effort to be here. I wish I could count from 5 to 1 in Greek, but I will ask everybody to help us to do that. And what I see behind me is the next generation of leaders of our state and our nation, and the students that are graduating from all your schools, because we know not just will they have an outstanding education, an outstanding footprint of their Greek heritage, but also learn the value of great citizenship. And that's why Greek Australians are loved by all, because you are outstanding citizens and proud of where you've come from, and we can't ask for more than that. So congratulations. We're so pleased to celebrate with you on one of the most recognisable buildings on the planet. And all eyes will be on Sydney celebrating in one with solidarity 200 years of Greek independence. Congratulations.
The Honourable Gladys Berejiklian, Premier of New South Wales, the Honourable Minister Geoff Lee, President of the Greek Orthodox Community of New South Wales, distinguished guests. Today we are celebrating the centenary of the start of the Greek Revolution of 1821. The Greek struggle for independence, which led to the birth of the modern Greek state, in a region, of course, where Greeks have existed for thousands of years, speaking more or less the same beautiful language that Greeks speak today. The Greek Revolution, celebrated every year by Greeks around the world, on the 25th of March, on the same day that the Greek Orthodox Church is celebrating the great feast of the Annunciation, is the most important chapter in the history of modern Hellenism. But it was also a leading historical event of its era, inspired by the ideals of freedom, dignity, justice, and democracy. In these 2 centuries, since the start of the Greek Revolution, the journey of the Greek state has been remarkable. And Greece has today every reason to envision the future with optimism and self-confidence. To this contributes one more major factor: a large and dynamic Greek diaspora, the Greek communities that live and thrive outside the traditional Greek homelands of Greece and Cyprus, all over the world, including, of course, Australia, which is home to the second largest Greek community in the world after the USA. In a few minutes, the iconic Sydney Opera House will be lit with the blue and white colors of the Greek national flag. We are grateful to the government of New South Wales and also to the New South Wales opposition for this highly symbolic gesture. We are grateful to the Premier, the Honourable Gladys Berejiklian, for honouring in this way this landmark bicentenary, for honouring Greece and Greeks all over the world for today celebrating, for honouring Greek Australians for their contribution to shaping Australia. Today, as we commemorate this landmark bicentenary, we also celebrate the warm friendship between Greece and Australia, to celebrate our common values that bind us as faithful friends. And we honour the great contributions that Greek Australians have made to multicultural Australian society. Long live Australia, long live Greece.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Can I ask Father Christopher, please, to say a few words? Representing the Archbishop.
The Honourable Gladys Berejiklian, Premier of New South Wales, Minister for Multiculturalism in our state, Mr. Jeff Lee, Consul General of Greece, Mr. Christos Karas, and guests. On behalf of His Eminence Archbishop Makarios of Australia, I thank you for the opportunity bestowed upon us this evening. We praise God who has counted us worthy today to celebrate both the Feast of the Annunciation of the Virgin Mary and the 200th anniversary since the start of the Greek Revolution. It is no coincidence that these events are celebrated together, as both led to freedom. The 25th of March has forever been engraved in the collective consciousness of our people and serves as a reminder of the inseparable relationship between our Hellenic nation and our Orthodox faith and Christ Church. Let us never forget that the blood of the martyrs who died for our faith and that of the heroes of our nation flows through our veins. This evening, the State Government of New South Wales honours all Hellenes by acknowledging the sacrifice and contribution of our ancestors. 200 years ago, a people who endured constant shame, threats of violence, the loss of property and churches, and the loss of life, obeyed to the voice of their Greek Orthodox conscience, which led them to a revolution. These Hellenes gave birth to martyrs and heroes, and like flickering oil lamps, fueled and illumined the Orthodox Christian faith and the modern Greek state. It is the ancestors of these individuals who many years later arrived only meters away from here and contributed not only to the state of New South Wales, but the whole of Australia. Here we built our new homes and contributed in all fields of work, strengthening the society that we live in today. The hospitable shores and the rugged inland allowed us not only to preserve our Orthodox faith, but our Greek identity, which in turn has also been further enriched since the arrival of the first Greek people here. Our dearest Premier and Minister Jeff Lee, we thank you and we thank all those who have worked with you to make tonight's event a reality. The colours of the Hellenic flag and its motto of freedom or death will shortly be reflected on the sails of the Sydney Opera House. Truly, we are a free people and continue to experience this freedom here in Australia, in New South Wales and the glorious city of Sydney. If there is something we must reflect on during this celebration, it is that we ought to hold high in our conscience and pass on to future generations the ideals of faith and nation. If we are to honour the Mother of God and the struggles of our ancestors, then we are required to prepare our hearts so that in every difficult decision that we are called to make in our lives, we always put forward our love and our dedication to God and our homeland, which for us, Australian Hellenes, spans from here to the Aegean. Tonight is not only the Feast of the Annunciation and the 200th anniversary of the Greek Revolution, it is also a night for us to celebrate our contribution to New South Wales and the whole of Australia. On behalf of His Eminence our Archbishop Makarios of Australia, God bless Greece, God bless Australia.
Thank you, Father. Now, if I could ask the next generation of leaders to step forward, and Premier, can you join them in the centre there, Premier? And we'll do others. And then we'll do the countdown. Great for some. And I should, while we've got a break, I should acknowledge St John's in Parramatta, the best parish ever. I may be biased, but it's my lecture, but what can I say? I may as well too. Actually, today we had a debate in Parliament celebrating Greek independence, and I must commend raising it. And in fact, it ran out of time. It was so popular amongst the independents to say what a great event it was today. To celebrate.
They're slow, aren't they?
Do you want me to do Greek dancing now?
No, this is serious. Sorry.
Yes. All right. Over to you guys. From 10.
Mente, descena, via, Dio, ena.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.